Welcome back to Candid Football Conversations, and we're back with one of our interviews, and we have a very special guest today from Vancouver, Shaan Hundal. Shaan, thanks a lot for taking time off your busy schedule in the Canadian Premier League. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to answer some questions.
Certain people who might be watching this podcast and who've not heard about you, a successful football player in North America, played for one of the biggest names in world football, one would have to say, last season in the second team of Inter Miami. Now you're with Vancouver FC. How's it going at the moment for you in the Canadian Premier League?
It's going good. I played in the Canadian Premier League I think 2 years ago for a brief stint of 2 months during COVID. Uh, Made my return this season. I think personally I'm doing well. Scored a few goals and stuff, but team's not doing the best. But it's a building for next season. Brand new team this year, so hopefully we get it right for next season. So.
Before we come and talk a little bit more about your career in North America in football, you're someone of Indian origin, and then we've been speaking about this for a while, especially with the person who represents you with Paros, and greetings to Paros as well. Being someone of Indian origin, you have the wish, the desire to maybe one day to represent India.
Yeah, of course. I've always dreamt about it. My parents grew up in India, lived in India their whole life. They go back to India 2 or 3 times a year. Grandma, grandpa, everyone used to go back. So, um, yeah, that's why I want to play for India whenever the chance presents itself, and hopefully it's sooner than later. And yeah, I want to do it for my family and see them smile. Me playing for a country that raised them. So.
We got the news today, and we're recording this on a Monday, that the All India Football Federation has announced that they're creating a task force for PIOs, OCIs. How encouraging do you find that the Federation now is trying to be proactive on the matter?
Yeah, I feel like it was a long time coming. I know there's people in the right spots pushing it forward and trying to get it done sooner than later. But I think it's good overall for all the growth in the sport in all of India. And I think once this is finally approved and gets through fully, I think everyone will see all the talent Indian players around the world have and how good the country can be in the biggest sport in the world. So.
Exactly, that's the biggest sport in the world. Let's come a little bit to talk about you as a person. You're 24 years old, born in Brampton, in the Indian heartland of Canada, I would say, most probably. How did you get into playing football?
Me personally, I got into football because my family moving from India didn't have much. It was the easiest sport to put your kid in, especially in Toronto, Brampton, and stuff. You just sign up, and it's the cheapest sport to put your kid in. And I just happened to be not too bad at it. So when they signed me up, coaches would ask them about it, ask them about me, what my plans are. My parents didn't know much about the platform in Canada for soccer and like what the pathway is to make it professionally until maybe I got to 13, 14 when I was at Toronto FC Academy. That's when they started talking about signing me to professional contracts at 15, 16. So that's when it became very real. And now my dad is very involved. He knows a lot about like the business side of soccer and everything. So it's exciting. It's exciting to see my family, my dad especially, have a new passion, in the sport, something that maybe he never thought that he would even care to think about when he was my age. But now that I play soccer, I'm happy to see that he's involved in the sport. And yeah, from Toronto FC, I went to Inter Miami, and then Inter Miami to Vancouver. So.
It's been a journey. You've got, of course, your loan spells as well. But how was it as a kid getting into sport like football? You come from an immigrant background. Was the backing there from the parents to play the sport, or were they a little skeptical, as sometimes Indian parents tend to be?
Yeah, for me, it never really became an option to go professionally until honestly the contract was on the table. Uh, for my family, it was okay. It's a way for me to play and maybe get a full ride scholarship in the U.S. and a nice good university and get my education. And then at Toronto FC, that's where they really gave me my dream. Like I honestly never really thought about. I've obviously had thoughts about going professionally, and I wanted to go professionally, but I never knew how close I was to that goal until the contract was in front of my eyes. And then when I received the contract, I think that's when my parents had to really take a step back and think, okay, like this could be a real profession for our kid, you know. So when I did get the contract, my dad, my mom, my whole family, they were very supportive. They said that I could go to school whenever I feel like, just if this is my dream, to just follow it and put my all into it. So I was lucky enough to have parents that understood the sport and how much it could offer me in my life, and they've been helping me ever since.
So how was it to be with an MLS team like Toronto FC, who of course are one of the biggest clubs in Canada?
It was amazing. When I was there, they were MLS Cup champions, MLS Cup finalists, two years in a row, CONCACAF Champions League finalists. It was amazing. I was 14, 15 years old, training with Javinko, Josie Altidore, Michael
Mhm.
Bradley. So I learned so much from them. All the coaching staff. There's people that I never lost touch with. People that shaped me into the person I am off the field as well today. And then moving from Toronto FC to Inter Miami, it was even bigger. You know, just seeing David Beckham watching my sessions. Um, I became really good friends with a lot of people in that club. Uh, Gonzalo Higuain, he taught me a lot of finishing and just watching him every day, the way he puts the ball in the back of the net and just how consistent he is. So yeah, it's nice to be at a young age and you get to learn from people that already did it at the highest level. You know, so it helped a lot.
You had a great season there at Inter Miami for their second team in MLS Next. How has that experience been? How's that prepared you now to before you now went back to Canada and joined the CPL?
It helped me in the sense where I knew how to play in a more experienced and more mature role. I know I'm only 24 years old, but I've been playing professionally since I was 16. So it's I'm not now my eighth year. So being there kind of taught me how to kind of move around. How I need to move around on the field and in ways that I never knew before. You know, like how to manage the game, how to manage the tempo of the game, the runs I need to make in certain times, and stuff like that. So learning from all the staff at Inter Miami and then coming to the Canadian Premier League, I feel like I'm adapting well because of everything I learned in my years before. Yeah, I feel like I came off on a good start in Vancouver, and then and I feel like I'm still adding things to my game that I feel like could help the team, whatever team I'm on.
Inter Miami, if we speak about it, one of the most spoken clubs about in the last 2 months, really, or less than 2 months, really. How do you feel? And you can now say, hey, listen, I used to play for that team. And do you miss that opportunity of maybe having shared a dressing room with someone like Lionel Messi?
Yeah, everyone asks me every time I see someone. They always ask, "Oh, like, it sucks that you had to leave. The year before you came." But to my defense, I was lucky enough to play against Argentina in right before the World Cup. They had a friendly against our Inter Miami, so I was lucky enough to play on the same field and play against all those players, play against Messi. So I at least can say that, right? But it's I watch every game Inter Miami has now. I talk to all the players still, so I'm happy for everyone that's there right now and get to experience it. And I'm happy that I could have been. I was at the club the year before at least, and hopefully down the road one more time I could go back.
And that brings me to the next question. You know what? Vancouver FC, of course, an expansion franchise in Canada. You're back in the CPL. You're 24. You're still young. What are your ambitions as a footballer? Where would you love to go? Where would you love to play?
I've always had in the back of my mind. I've talked to a few people. I've always wanted to play in India, in the Indian Super League. That's always been something that eventually in my career I'd love to explore. Um, Me coming to Vancouver FC, I'm being coached by Afshin Gotpi. He's pretty big in the
Yeah.
Asian community. He coached in Iran, the Korean League, China. So that was part of the reason why I really went to Vancouver, because such a big name coach who's been in Asia, who understands the Asian culture and has done everything in that market. So that's why I really went there. I know he knows a lot of people in India as well, and it's nice to be coached by someone who understands where I come from, where my background is. So after this season, I don't know. I'm not too sure. I still need to speak to my agent and see what the next step is, but definitely down the road, I do want to play in the Indian Super League.
That's nice. So you heard it here. Sean would love to play in the Indian Super League, but no wishes maybe to play in Europe at some stage, or maybe even play for a senior level MLS team. You've played for a couple of them with their second teams. Would you love
Yeah.
to play MLS, or would you rather like to play in Europe at some stage?
Yeah. For me, I want to play in Europe, of course, but I feel like I don't want to rush the step and and go and like have to go there and go to a lower league and kind of fight my way through. Ideally, I would love to go to MLS first team, play a bunch of games, make a name for myself, and then make a jump to Europe or wherever I see fit. That's always the dream and the goal. And then because I know once I make the MLS, a lot of doors open. So that's the main goal, and then from there we see what happens.
You said earlier you want to play for India down the road, but you've played for Canada at youth level. How was that experience?
It was good. It was amazing. I played in the all. I mean, I think I played in all the youth systems. I played with all the guys on the men's national team that are there now. It was an amazing experience playing with the guys. I've seen guys literally grow right in front of me. They're playing. Yeah, it's amazing, and I made lifelong friendships with a lot of them, and it's nice to see what a lot of them are doing, and hopefully someone from India can do that one day too.
Excellent. Shaan, to end on a personal note, footballer, of course, you train a lot. There's a lot of things that you have to take care of a lot when it comes to diet and other things and physical fitness. What do you do in your off time? What are the likes of a Shaan Hundal? What do you want to do when you don't have to care and don't have to bother about football?
Usually, what I do on my off days right now is I go on a lot of bike rides. I picked that up in Vancouver. There's a lot of nice scenery, a lot of nice mountains and nice trails. So that's what I've been doing, just going on bike rides and a lot of movies. So when you live alone in Vancouver and you don't know many people other than your teammates, you have to find hobbies to pick up. And I think biking is the newest one I picked up.
So biking it is.
Yeah.
Any interactions with the Indian or the Asian community, which is quite big in Vancouver per se, or is that something which, due to your hectic schedule with the club, that you get limited time to interact with people?
No, it's actually very, very surprising. I know Surrey and Brampton are two of probably the biggest cities outside of India that have a lot of population. And on our game days, there's a lot of Indian people that come out to the games and come say hi to me after the game and stuff. So it's always a great feeling knowing that like I caught the eye of someone from our culture and someone who supports me, and it kind of reminds me of how much more I have to do to make everyone else proud, not just my family, but people outside of India that live in Surrey, Brampton, or wherever that have the dreams of being a professional, footballer. And yeah, I just work hard, and whoever wants to say hi to me, I can make the most time I can and say hi. So.
And the last and final question: desi food.
Desi food, I like rajma chawal. I like goat meat. My dad makes a lot of that, so I eat that. And then
Okay,
yeah, butter chicken obviously is the the main
it's
one.
the go-to thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
When the Punjabi roots come through.
yeah, yeah.
So, Shaan, thanks a lot for your time. Great chatting to you, and hopefully in the future I'll be able to see you live, maybe in North America, or maybe even here in Europe or in India.
Yeah,
Hopefully in an India shirt, maybe one day.
yeah.
And it's great that you took the time off of your busy schedule to speak to me.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Well, guys, this was the latest episode of Candid Football Conversations. Shaan Hundal, our guest. Do like, share, and subscribe, and do follow him also on his social medias. Thanks a lot, and bye, guys.